My name is Coco, and I am so excited to welcome you to our very first virtual conference, In the Thick of It. We have some incredible speakers, and you do not want to miss what God has for you. Join us right here on Facebook for the next 10 days as we hear from different women in different stages of ministry, ready to share with you what God has put on their heart. We want to invite you to join us this May in Springfield, Missouri for Retreat. We can't wait for you to connect with old friends and to make new friends. So join us May 3rd and 4th for Retreat.
Welcome to our very first online conference in Friends in Ministry. I'm Cindy Lyons, and I started Friends in Ministry several years ago because I needed to connect with friends who understood my journey. I needed some friendships. I needed to connect with other ladies, and it has been such a blessing to be able to get to know so many of you online. I grew up as a missionary kid in the Philippines and loved every minute of it, and ended up serving as missionaries with my husband Eddie for many years. And 16 years ago, we came to the States, and we've been serving at High Street Baptist Church for all these years. I'm here with my daughter Coco, and I'm so pleased to be able to serve together here at High Street. And she's going to tell you a little bit about her journey.
That's right, my name is Coco, and I am so privileged to work here at High Street with my parents, and I am the Assimilation and Internship Director, and just recently I've just started doing some creative stuff here at the church, and it has been such an honor to work with my parents. I'm so blessed by them, and I love that I get to do ministry with them. As women in ministry, we all serve in different roles, whether that's on staff at a church, or maybe you're a pastor's wife, or maybe you're the lead volunteer. There's so many different roles with working in churches, and you know, one thing about that is it's a very unique thing, and we need each other on this journey. You know, ministry, there's highs and there's lows, and sometimes in the thick of it, we just need to lock arms with each other and connect with each other, encourage each other, and pray for each other. And so that's what this virtual conference is all about. We're excited to be here and just to be able to share different stories and just an encouraging word with you as you're in the thick of it of ministry, or maybe you're just here, you're just getting started in ministry and you want to hear from other women and get wisdom from them. And so that's what this virtual conference is all about, and we're so excited that you're here.
As women in ministry, we can sometimes feel like we are all alone and we're the only ones doing this thing. And the truth is, there are other women all over the world who are like us that God has called, and we need to connect to one another. And that's one of the reasons I started Friends in Ministry, is to just create a safe place where we can connect as friends, we can share encouragement, and a place where we really feel like we understand each other. And as women in ministry, we believe something very important. To make it for the long haul, we have got to have friends.
Over the course of Friends in Ministry, the primary way of communicating has been this Facebook group. But several years ago, we started our very first retreat, and we've had several since, and it has been an absolute blast. This is a time for us to come together. We can actually be in the same room, drink a cup of coffee together. And you know, this is a time where we get to come, be encouraged, have fun, and listen to some incredible women who are in ministry, who can give us some wisdom and give us some encouragement to keep going, to keep doing ministry, and to make it for the long haul.
At retreat, we get to spend time with old friends, and we get to meet new friends, and we leave feeling like we're part of a sisterhood. We leave inspired. We are embracing our calling, ready for the fresh challenges that God has for us. We've been praying about how to best encourage one another, and we felt like we needed to bring a little bit of retreat to you. And we realized that not everybody can come to retreat. There were many years when I couldn't come to meetings because I had kids at home, and so we wanted to do something online to be able to encourage you all.
Over the next 10 days, we're going to be hearing from women who are in the ministry and in the thick of it. And so we encourage you, wherever you are, to get online and to stay connected to this virtual conference, because we know that you're going to be encouraged.
You may be in a time when things are going great, you're busy, you may be launching a church, you may have been in a church a long time serving in that church. You may be a missionary, raising funds, going all over the country, trying to get ready to go to the country that God has called you to. You may be already serving on the mission field. You may have been there for a long time. You might be a missionary mom that is going all across the country homeschooling your kids in the car, and maybe you're not just homeschooling, you're car schooling, or you are motel schooling or Sunday school room schooling, and you really are tired. And you may be a mom that's been dragging your baby all across the nation, and this baby has been in 50 nurseries, and you're just tired. And so wherever you are, whether it's going great or whether it's challenging, we want to share stories with you. Sometimes we can get so busy in ministry, and we can be so stressed out that we feel isolated and we feel overwhelmed. Wherever you may be, we realize that as women in ministry, we can get overwhelmed and we can get isolated, and we just need fresh perspective. So we are excited about the stories that you're going to hear from the women that are going to be on our online conference. We have called this conference In the Thick of It because, ladies, we are involved. We are completely involved in ministry. And we're immersed in ministry day to day, hour to hour, and Sunday is always coming. I looked up some definitions of in the thick of it, and in the Webster's Dictionary, it says, in the thick of it means in the most active or intense part of something, a soldier in the thick of battle. Another dictionary says very busy. We can all relate to that. To be in the thick of something means to be involved in it completely. You are right in the middle of it. And according to these definitions, it defines us well. Whatever role we play, we are in the thick of it. As a leader, we carry a lot of responsibility, and we are in the big middle of everything. Take Sunday morning alone. For women in ministry, it's a whole nother ballgame. For most people, just think about this. Sunday mornings are relaxing, and they actually have a thing called Sunday brunch. But we wouldn't know about that because we are up early. We've been actually preparing on Saturday night, getting ready, and Saturday for Sunday, because we know a lot of things happen on Sunday because Sunday is our game day. So for me, waking up early, having already prepared my Sunday school lesson, I'm about getting my children in the car, and thank the Lord, they are all older. Then once we get in the car, we always have this tradition of praying for Daddy who's going to be speaking in church, or Mom if I'm going to be doing the lesson, and just praying that God would use our family. And then as we are going into church, I'm thinking about, Lord, please anoint me for teaching these women. Lord, give them what they need. And we're all about like meeting and greeting, and we just want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable, get into teaching the lesson, and then we need to get on to church. So on the way to church, you end up counseling several women in the hallway, sometimes praying, and that's good. That's all good. And then once we get into church, it's time for worship, and that is wonderful, and so good. And then we go through the sermon, and you know what? If you're a pastor's wife, you don't just sit through the sermon. You are begging God to use your husband. So you feel this pressure because you are absolutely with your husband on mission, and you are praying that God will use your husband, that people will receive the message, that they'll come forward. You're praying for people to get saved and for revival and harvest. So you feel all this. You're in the thick of it. And then for some of us, we go forward to be able to pray with people who come forward, and that's a great thing. But then I've got my mental checklist. I've got my checklist of, I've got to check on that person. I forgot to call them back. Or, oh my goodness, this person is borrowing money again. I've got to check on that. Or this person has been sick. I've got to start a meal train. Or I haven't seen so-and-so for several weeks. Do I need to check on her? Maybe I don't want to know. what's really going on. But there's so many people that you're checking on, like, oh my goodness, I've got to introduce this person to this person because they need to be in a small group, and we meet and greet, and then we want to make sure that all the visitors feel welcome and introduce them to somebody. And we just have this sense of responsibility that we want people to get connected, and we want people to feel at home and feel welcome in our churches. And so we've got all this mental checklist on our heart, so we want to make sure that we are doing what needs to be done that day. Wherever you are today, we believe that God wants to help you. He wants to help you flourish. He wants to strengthen you. He wants to equip you. He wants to enable you to finish strong. And we believe that coming together and encouraging one another is so important. As women in ministry, we aren't just doing a job. We are participating with God in His plan to reach the world, and it's so important. And we have got to do whatever it takes to stay strong. And in this time together, I believe that God is going to speak to us. I want to encourage you to get a time every day to be able to listen to the videos, get your journal, get your Bible, find a comfy place to listen. And I know that God is going to prepare your heart to receive whatever it is that He wants to do. I know that there have been times in my life where I've gone through really difficult times and I didn't even know what I needed. And I would just pray, Lord, I don't even know what I need, but you know what I need. Can you please come and meet me there? And God has been so faithful every single time to either let a verse in my Bible just jump out of the page and meet that need and just bring a peace to my heart, or He has sent someone to come and spend some time with me, or just to send me a note to encourage me. God has always been faithful when we don't even know what we need. He is so faithful to be able to come and meet that need. One of the things that keeps me going is to realize that this is not my agenda. This is God's agenda. And He is not willing that any should perish, but all should come to repentance. He is actively drawing people to Himself, and He invites me to be part of the plan. And so I know He's going to equip me, and He's going to encourage me. And I just feel like sometimes we get a wrong impression about what ministry should be like. And one pastor said, you're not called to the beach, you're called to the battle. And that just kind of gave me clarity, like, yes, we are in a battle, because this is a battle for souls, and the enemy doesn't want us to succeed, and he doesn't want us to stay on course. And so we've got to strengthen ourselves and learn how to encourage ourselves in the Lord, but we've also got to draw strength from other women in the ministry. I have often felt like being in the ministry is sometimes like riding a really scary roller coaster. Sometimes He asks us to do things that are so out of our comfort zone, and He sometimes asks us to go and be places that we had never thought we would be. And yet, in that scary ride, and if we hold on to God during this ride and we obey Him, we experience some of the most exciting things that we could ever possibly even imagine. And we get to see God do things that only He could do. We see people come to Christ in miraculous ways. We see people turn to Him. We see answered prayer. We see lives changed. And God lets us be a part of that. And so it's not our agenda, it's God's agenda, and we are participating with Him in the most important work in the world. There are times when we are in the thick of ministry and we can get isolated and discouraged. And God wants to give us a fresh perspective in the midst of it. He does not want us to get lost in the thick of it. He doesn't want us to just get lost in the ministry, and He's not going to leave us alone. He is absolutely going to be with us all the way. He doesn't want us to lose heart and just do things out of obligation. He wants us to do it with heart and passion. And I believe that when we come together, we stir up one another to do these things and to realize why we started, and that God has good things ahead for us. One of the ways that God has encouraged me is just by hearing the stories of my friends and how God met them when they were in the thick of it. God wants absolutely wants to give us joy, peace, and purpose as we serve him. And he is so good at knowing how to speak to us when we need it. And I just know that God is about to do something great in your lives, and I'm really praying for each one of you that you'll be able to really take the time to listen to the videos and prepare your heart to receive what he is going to do. And you may not know what you need right now, but he knows what you need. As we close, I just want to share some verses that have kept me going throughout the years of ministry. And one of them is in Psalm 27. It says, I am still confident of this. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord. And that verse has kept me going because God is going to do great things even as we wait for him. And I love Hebrews 6:10. It says, God is not unjust. He will not forget your work and the love you have shown him as you have helped his people and continue to help him. Then Hebrews 10:35 and 36. So do not throw away your confidence. It will be richly rewarded. You need to persevere so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive what he has promised. And you are all doing the will of God. As you have said yes to God, I know he has great things ahead for you. I'm praying that during this conference, he's going to give you joy, peace, and purpose in the thick of it, and that you're going to experience God's goodness in the land of the living, and he's going to bless you more than you can imagine. Looking forward to this time together.